What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, guys? Welcome, 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 guys and gals, to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. What's happening, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Something I just got to look at, and I'll be right to you, I promise. All right, here we go, guys. Just had to get my notes going. But what's happening, everybody? Hope everybody is good. Before we get all the way started, let me check my levels. Check, 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 mic check, mic check, mic check. You guys let me know if I'm loud and clear, too low, too high. If the music is loud and clear, too low, too high. Y'all let me know what's happening, man. Let's say hello to the early commenters. Hold on, guys. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I just got to pull up my software to check my audio on my end and make sure it's not too loud. And it is not. It is right on the money. But what's going on, guys? Let's say what's up to the early commenters. Hello, hello. First and foremost, my man Mark Cunningham in the building. Hello, Lanisha, the lovely Lanisha in the building. Guys, y'all already know how we feel about our lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Treat her with care. Treat them with care. Roll out that red carpet. Make sure you say hello to Lanisha and the ladies. Hello, Lanisha. Good to see you like always. Daredevil is in the building. Steeler Cards in the building. Crazy Ron Gaming in the building. 12 Gauge Hemi in the building. Who else we got up in here? My good brother Kenyon in the building, of course. And Steeler Cards as well as in the building, man. Good to see all of you guys. Like I said, man, these shows right here are preliminary shows because we know it gets going and gets ramped up when the season starts. My man CT Pittman in the building as well. And yeah. What a wonderful thing. Hopefully, guys, we get a whole lot more to talk about here shortly. It's funny. This has been kind of a quiet training camp in preseason, if you will. Hasn't been a whole lot of things to really dive into or stories. Definitely, if you guys want to share with me you guys' thoughts on the game, I definitely watched it. Did not do a post-game show for that one, man, because I had a long day, super long day. I wasn't even at home. Well, I was at home, but, you know, I had to deal with my niece's birthday party was here at my home. That turned out great, and I had company as well, so I just couldn't get a chance to steal away and make a show. Had to watch the game, also the condensed version of it. But hey, it is what it is, guys. But let's get to it. I only got a few quick topics tonight, man. I plan to be out of here in less than 30 minutes or 30 minutes at the max, so let's get started. First thing that caught my eye, I saw the news come through today on social media. The Steelers have parted ways with Roc Taylor. Now, I know some of you guys may be upset about that because I remember when we were in search for a wide receiver number 2, some of you guys and some of y'all might be in the chat right now. You all talked about Roc Taylor, what he could possibly be. If I remember correctly, this guy was a UDFA, and some of you guys had high hopes for him. Roc Taylor has made a couple, I won't necessarily, yeah, I guess I could say, sorry guys, my nose is itching. You know, I'm trying to scratch the bridge of it. Some of you guys, you know, were high on him, and yeah, he made a couple plays in the preseason, you know, a couple catches here and there. Maybe not anything that was, you know, earth-shattering, but he popped up a couple times. So I thought maybe he was going to have an opportunity, but the word on the street, according to, y'all know when I do the quote fingers is I don't know myself. This is just what I'm reading. According to a beat writer, he was in Mike Tomlin's doghouse. I do not know the reason why. If any of you guys have more information on that, please let me know. And yeah. And you know what, Malvo? This topic, the main topic is just for people like you. So you sit tight, and I'm gonna give my opinion. And it's, again, I'm just gonna say this before I even get there. I don't know how you could come to the conclusion that early, but I'll let you have it. I respect it. But that is the main reason why I do want to focus on Kaleb Johnson. But anyway, let's finish this topic. What's up, Black Thanos? Hey, I don't know if it's a loss or not for Roc Taylor. Okay, I think he was a long shot anyway. I think the Steelers are pretty content with what they have. I heard supposedly that Gabe Davis met with the Steelers again, or was going to meet with the Steelers on today, being Tuesday. I don't know how that panned out. I haven't seen any news of the visit actually happening or him signing. So maybe the Steelers are still looking to, do something else at wide receiver. And like I said, the rumor mill, the reports are that Roc Taylor was on Mike Tomlin's doghouse list. So if any of you guys have any information on that, please share it. And if I miss it here in the chat, get back to me when we get closer to the end of the show when I come to the chat. Now, speaking of the next receiver, I talked about this guy last week, and I could talk about him again this week. Roman Wilson. All I'm really looking for from Roman Wilson is that he makes some plays here and there, because, again, this was a guy that a lot of us were high on. If I remember correctly, we got Roman. What round did we get Roman in? The second or third? I think maybe the third, if I remember correctly. And I think that was a huge value pick. Most of you guys know what Roman Wilson was while in college, and we're high on him. And the fact that he's making plays not only makes me feel good, but also the fact that a lot of people were saying, I saw it right here in this chat, people were saying, yeah, man, Roman Wilson ain't doing nothing in camp. Turns out that I don't think that is actually facts, because Mike Tomlin just recently said that this guy has been doing his job in camp. They've been impressed with what he's done. So, again, I don't have the facts. I know we all have our own opinions, but I thought it was a bit too early for people to make that determination about Roman Wilson, right? The first action that this guy is getting since being drafted, and it seems like ever since that statement was made here on this show in the comments, he's done nothing but make plays. So I'm excited by Roman Wilson, man. I think Roman Wilson has a really good opportunity to be obviously a slot receiver for the Steelers, but I think you're going to see him work also at the Z, particularly when we only go with 2 wide receivers out there, your 12 personnels of the world. I think there will be opportunities for Roman Wilson to be playing out there along with DK Metcalf, as opposed to just Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin is definitely a scrappy guy as well. He's willing to stick his face in the fan. But I think, just going off of college, I haven't really seen full tape where I've focused on Roman Wilson's blocking. But I think just from what he did in college, he might be the better option in 12, along with DK Metcalf, if we plan to run the football. So we'll keep our eyes glued to that. But hold on, guys. There's Wonder Bread here in the chat, so we got to acknowledge it and say thank you to the infamous Tim. Round of applause. All right, guys. He says, yeah, I was one of them. He proved me wrong. I'll eat crow. That's what he's saying. I'll eat it. And there's nothing wrong with that, Tim. This is a family environment. I don't think any of us are right or wrong. I think a lot of us just give our opinion. And then sometimes our opinion is validated by the player, and sometimes our opinion is having crow for us to eat by the player. And that's what makes it fun. And you guys know, and if I ever start doing this, I expect and respect you guys enough for you guys to check me. If you ever feel like, man, Sim, you so high up on your opinion and you ain't looking, let me know that, because I'm a real dude. And I say, all right, if y'all saying that, I must be doing it. But I try not to ever have a blind opinion and think that's the only way. It's just an opinion. I'm always open to being wrong or being proved wrong, because, again, it's not a right or wrong for any of us when you're giving an opinion. It's just your thoughts. So I never say, oh, I was wrong. I will say, yeah, they proved me wrong. Just like my man just said there, proved me wrong. And I'm always open to that when it's the benefit of the team, right? So, yeah, I think we all have been guilty of that for sure. So let's see what else. Oh, yeah, that's another guy. As I look at Steeler card, he wrote some things there. That is another guy that you're probably going to see in 12 personnel at times is where Skoranek, if Skoranek remains on the roster, again, he's another guy that showed his value last year. Y'all remember I came on here on a lot of those weeks singing his praise about how he blocks. So I would expect him to be in the fold as well in those situations. And sometimes they might even line him in like we did last year out of 12 just to put another willing blocker on the field. So that's cool. I'm down for that. But yeah, man, let's keep our eyes open and let's keep our eyes optimistic for a Roman Wilson. Hopefully he pans out. He's got a little speed on him. He seems to be a tough guy. And, they're singing his praises. He might be that tough possession guy for us. So keep your eyes open, man. I think we could put a pretty formidable three-man lineup out there at receiver. You got Calvin Austin to take the top off the defense speed. You got DK Metcalf, big, strong, 50-50 guy who can also take the top off the defense. And then you have a Roman Wilson that can work inside, outside. There you have it. Round of applause, man. Round of applause to the good brother Dirty. We got more Wonder Bread in the chat, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. So this is interesting. He says, if number 77 is that suspect during the season, it's a 9-8 season. I want to ask you guys, because I want to get you guys' opinion. This is a time for us to come together as a family and just give our opinion. Is Broderick Jones, has he done that bad in the preseason? I'm going to be all the way honest with you guys. I have not been hyper-focused on the offensive line yet. Y'all know my routine. I'm going to go back and look at these games. Haven't been hyper-focused on that, but I don't recall us giving up too many sacks or anything. So I'm asking you guys who may have been watching it, has he been that bad? I did see Alex Kozora posted a rep from the game by Broderick Jones, and he was giving Broderick credit, for that particular play. I'm not saying the whole game. He just said, hey, this was a great rep by Broderick Jones. So I wonder if any of you guys who's really been paying attention and hyper-focused on the line, how do you think he has done so far? Steeler Card says he's doing well. Lanisha said he's doing well. Nathan says he's been good so far. Okay. Dirty said he's still making the same mistakes. What are the same mistakes? Only reason why I asked Dirty is because we have not seen him at left tackle. Not challenging you. I'm just asking, what are you seeing that brings you to that conclusion? Because this is the first time we're seeing him at left tackle. So I want to know, what are the same mistakes? CT Pittman says, no, Aaron Rodgers has been giving praise to Broderick Jones. Okay. And this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, again, I'm not challenging nobody's opinion. I'm just always showing you guys how opinions vary. That's all. Tim says, I agree. We aren't a team that can overcome below average offensive line play. We go as far as the line goes. But Jones hasn't looked bad. But remember, 2022 preseason KP8, he was an all-pro. Yeah, good point. Good point. A lot of this stuff, and I agree with that, Tim, TBD. A lot of this is TBD right now. We're talking about 2 preseason games, man. Brando says he's great. Okay, could be a stretch. Kenyon says Broderick has been great this preseason, but he just has to do it in the real game. Okay, Kenyon said he's been great. So I'm just showing you guys, man. It's opinions. Look, this is somebody else here. What's the name there? That's a lot of letters together, but he says, dude look trash, no cap. Okay, opinions vary. So that's my point. Everybody has their own opinion. And it's always curious to know what brings each one of us to our own opinion. What I try to do here, sitting up here talking on this microphone, is I try to quantify my opinion when I give it to you guys. So at least y'all can understand, okay, I see what Sim is saying, but I disagree. Oh, I see what Sim is saying. I definitely agree with that. That's why I try to explain to you guys my thought process instead of me just saying this dude sucks, this dude is great. I'm going to explain to you why. Remember, I did it with Minka. Some of you guys hated Minka. And I'll continue to say, well, no, this is why I like what Minka has done for us when he was still with us. So I'm always going to do that. But let's move on, man. The very next topic I have, hey, Cam Heyward is back at practice in uniform and participating. Round of applause to that. We appreciate that, Cam Heyward. Listen, like I said last week or whatever week that was, just didn't like the timing of it, but I understand it, right? I don't have to like the timing, but I understand it. Based off of where he ranked, yes, I can understand him asking for more money. For those of you that feel like he shouldn't do that, listen, these players these days have wisened up. They understand how the market works. They understand that it is $1 billion playpen. Do I prefer guys kind of disrupting the flow of things and asking for extensions when their contract isn't over? No, I don't necessarily think that, right? I do feel like a lot of times with any of these guys who demand trades and demand extensions before their contract expires, I do sometimes feel like, well, you know, why not just do that in free agency? Why not play out your contract? But at the same time, I understand somebody in Cam Heyward's position. You know, this is his last ride. So maybe he's trying to get the cash out while he can. Listen, I understand it. But just didn't like the timing of it all. But the fact that he's back participating, round of applause to Cam Heyward, man. Be the captain that we love you for, and no beef there. So, all right, guys, the next thing that I got up on my list, man, this is an interesting one as well. And I saw Malvo already made a comment saying, let me see if I can find it, but he said, okay, I don't even have to find it. I remember what he said. He said he's not sold on Kaleb Johnson. You guys see that the title in my video, I basically said Kaleb Johnson shows his potential against the Buccaneers. Here's what I don't understand by some of the criticism that I'm seeing from Steeler Nation. Number one, rookie player. Number two, two preseason games under his belt. 2. Number 3, not even running with the first team offensive line for the duration of him being out there. Number 4, why are we saying he's not Najee Harris? First of all, he's not. But why is Steeler Nation saying that? Some of y'all are saying that. Some of y'all might be in this chat. Why are y'all saying that when I recorded y'all was sick of Najee Harris too? Y'all claimed he was trash. Remember when some of you guys was telling me that Jaylen Warren should definitely start over Najee Harris? That's a fair assessment if that's your opinion. But why is it now people are saying, oh, this kid isn't Najee Harris. We shouldn't have got rid of Najee. Which one is it? I do not understand Steeler Nation that does that. Any of you guys that are part of Steeler Nation and you do that, hey, I still love you, but I do not understand that. I don't understand the clickety-clack of the flip-flops. I don't get it. Again, before I get to my assessment, we're talking about 2 preseason games and we saying that we not sold on a player. 2 preseason games in his rookie career. 2. Now, with all due respect, Malvo, I appreciate you, brother. You know that, but I just don't understand how you or anyone else can come to that conclusion after 2 preseason games. I don't even have to read whatever you're saying. I'll let the chat, y'all go back and forth. I don't even know what you're typing now because I'm not looking over there. I'm sure you are responding. None of that matters to me in this sense. We're talking about 2 preseason games. I don't think there's no way in the world that nobody can say that they can call a career on somebody in 2 preseason games to say you're not sold on them. I don't think we've seen anything that this kid could offer as far as his full potential. So I'm gonna just be honest and be fair and tell y'all my transparency. I'm not really paying attention to those type of comments. That's too early for me to dive into that. I respect the opinion, but I don't understand how you, because you're not alone, sir. You're not alone. This is the reason why I made this the topic of the night. You're not alone. People saying it on socials. This dude sucks. And here's the funny thing. Excuse me. They saying that after the performance against the Bucs. Did y'all not see that one drive where he was heating up? What are we talking about? I mean, are we expecting a home run hitter every time? Do running backs, and I'm not saying that Kaleb did this. He did it better in this game. I will say there was in the first game, there was one player in particular I remember that he should have gone to the left, well, to the right, but he went left. It happens with running backs, and I was like, I hope that isn't a thing. I think he got better in this game. I think he showed us his burst, his vision, his quick feet. I think he showed exactly what I said. Kenya said the same when he was drafted. I said that this offense with the zone blocking scheme is tailor-made for him. I think he showed that. I just don't know how we're saying already that we're not sold on him. How could you be? How could you be sold on him one way or the other? I'll even say that. Round of applause to Dirty Man dropping another piece of Wonder Bread. We appreciate you, brother. I don't know. I can't call that. He says, how long do you think before we make him running back one? I don't know, because I definitely do believe that they are planning to split carries. They started doing that more last season. Tomlin or one of them already said that. Yeah, because they even asked him in his interview, speaking of Kaleb Johnson, his post game, they even asked him, hey, the offensive guys, and Tomlin has said that it's going to be, a split rotation. You're saying that you're the type of guy that, feed me Seymour type of guy, right? You get going, the more you get the ball, how are you going to deal with that? So if that is the structure of the offense, then, I'm not too concerned with him being RB1. To answer that question, though, I think eventually he will become that, whether it's contractual or for whatever other reason. I don't think Jaylen Warren, if let's say the Steelers don't plan to sign him long term, then there it is. Kaleb Johnson automatically becomes the one, the same way that Jaylen Warren will be the one now with Najee Harris being gone. You understand what I'm saying? But I definitely think that the Steelers want to get a rotation going, which a lot of the NFL teams do that now. There's not a whole ton of offenses I could be wrong, but just trying to go off of memory. There's not a whole lot of offenses that do the Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? Where it's just him 30 times a game. A lot of NFL teams now have a complement of backs. So I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that at all. But yeah, man, listen. I don't know why some people are poo-pooing on Kaleb Johnson so early. I just don't understand that, guys. I just don't get it, man. I think the boy showed some really good patience, vision, quick feet, burst in some of those runs down the stretch. So, yeah, I don't know. But that's about all I got. I told you guys it would be short tonight, man. I'm going to start keeping these short and sweet unless we have really potent information to get into. Let's see what you guys got, man. Give me some information, man. Put some stuff in the comments, some stuff in the chat. What do y'all want me to talk about? Hold on, man. We just got another. Man, we got some more Wonder Bread. Shout outs to my guy, CT Pittman, man. I appreciate you, brother. Your first sentence alone, I agree with. He says, I think it's crazy how fans can say NFL players are trash. They have no idea how good you have to be just to make a team in training camp. We got to pump the brakes on dismissing players so quick. I could not agree with you more, man. Actually, I'm going to throw another round of applause on that. I just don't understand it, man. Like I told you guys, maybe it's because me maturing as a fan, a football fan, right? And you guys, if y'all recall, a lot of y'all have been rocking with me a long time. Y'all recall me saying this about 3 years ago, that I was like, you know what? I'm no longer going to say this about a player. What I will say is I don't think they're the best at their position. But I denounced calling any NFL player a trash, any professional player a trash player. No, I ain't doing that. But even if you want to do that, my biggest beef as well, CT, is they doing this after 2 preseason games, bro. So that means y'all expecting said player at whatever position to be the best person on the field immediately and do the most incredible thing you ever seen on his first game. It's crazy. Fully agree with Kevin Brockenbarrow. That boy Kaleb Johnson is special. Just watch. Just watch. Just watch. That's all I'm going to say. What else y'all got, man? What else y'all got? What else? I'm going to spend a few more minutes, guys. We had 27 minutes, so I got a few minutes to spare. Steeler Card says he shouldn't be too expensive either, Mark. Can probably get him for $5 to $6 million per year. Who you guys talking about? Who y'all talking about? Y'all talking about Jalen? Yeah, y'all think y'all talking about Jalen Warren, I believe. What else y'all got, guys? Anything else you want to say, man? Any topic, I will comment on it. I'll give you a few minutes. Jamal McCullum says, every great running back had a great offensive line besides Barry. That too. Man, we got Wonder Bread coming in, man. So we're going to say round of applause to the infamous Tim as well as Daron. And Daron, yes, I got Madden content coming soon, man. I've been uber busy, guys. Like, you know, between me now, you know, coaching, assistant coaching. I'm not the head guy. I didn't want to take that spot because I'm new to it. I wanted to learn the ropes, but, you know, coaching his youth football team and got a lot going on, man. I haven't been able to get out even the college football content, but all that stuff is still in the clip, man. It's still in the clip. I did start Madden. I got 2 games in on the franchise and shall be coming you guys' way. But the infamous Tim, let me round of applause both of you guys and Daron Smith. Thank you for the Wonder Bread, gentlemen. The infamous Tim says, Mike T is a defensive guy, but I think he's dead. You said you think he's dead more offense. Did more offense? You said you think he's dead more offensive talent than defensive talent overall. I think I know what you're trying to say. Okay. You said, all right, you think he's drafted more offensive talent, defensive talent overall. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. You know, autocorrect be bugging. That's fair. And you might be right. I mean, if you just think back to all of the receivers and, you know, you think back to the year when we take Najee first and then we go Pat Fryer move, then we go and get Kendrick Green. But you might be right. We have drafted some defensive guys here and there, but yeah, you may be right. You may be right in saying that Tomlin may have landed, especially in the last, say, 6-7 years. They may have drafted more offensive talent than defensive talent. That could be a good point. You may be correct there. What else you got? Daron is asking about, he says, when When will be our next Madden discussion? I got a lot I've seen so far and want your input. Oddly enough, Smitty and I was going to do a show last week, and we ended up not doing it. So maybe possibly Thursday. Like I said, man, the schedule is so off now with me doing practice and stuff like that. But hopefully we'll be able to get a show out pretty soon, man. Nathan says, I was watching the game on Saturday. Kaleb Johnson should ran right. You said should have ran right. I don't know if you're talking about a particular play or a pimp named Slickback Green. Yeah, man, that Kendrick Green, man. That's an inside joke between Kenya and Tony and myself. What else y'all got, guys? A few more minutes, if that. We had 31, so I'm planning to get out of here. You say you should run to the right side. Okay. You talking about a particular play, or you just saying in general? Because yeah, like I said, I saw some aha moments with Kaleb Johnson. Again, I already saw what he could do in college, but I saw, in general, Nathan, I saw glimpses of that vision that I talked about from his Iowa days. And I think the explosion is going to happen. And again, man, going into the NFL is different. You know, as many people that I know that have actually gone to the NFL and some that I've talked to personally, it's another level, you know what I mean? And it's, the game has to slow down for you, right? And once you start seeing it and you start feeling the game out, then things get much better. And then also we cannot discount the offensive line, right? So it all goes hand in hand. But like I said, I think Kaleb is going to be just fine. I would be very surprised if he's not. The Master of Music says, Sim, what do you think about what you've seen from Y.A. Black so far? Man, this guy can push the pocket, brother. I think from what I've seen so far, again, we might see more of him in the last game, perhaps, with him being a later round guy. Man, I think Y.A. Black could end up being one of the steals that we got out of this draft. Because if this dude can plug and play like that, just being able to stuff the run or being able to push guys in the backfield, just think about teams like the Ravens, Cleveland, you know, these guys that like to run the ball and come right at you. Even teams like the Colts. And I can't remember exactly who all we played this year as far as the season, but man, if we can get a guy that can help collapse or, you know, basically build a brick wall in the middle, it's going to be interesting, good people. CT Pittman says, this team is starting to bridge the gap between our offense and defensive talents. Still more stars on defense, but we got some stars on offense and some emerging stars on O-line like Frazier. Yeah, Frazier's a dog. He absolutely is a dog. Absolutely dirty. He says, do you think Harmon being there puts more pressure on Benton? It does. You know, Benton is in the starting rotation already. So, yeah. You know, and they're not exactly the same dude either. Like, I don't even think, now that I think about it, I'm not even certain. Yeah, I don't think they even play the same spot. But what it does do, I would say, the way I'm answering that is it puts pressure on you because you're a D lineman. You want to be effective. You don't want the next guy to come in, even if he does play a different quote unquote spot. You don't want the new guy to come in there and show that he can be more dominant. You want both of you guys to be dominant. So that's where I would say the pressure comes. But it doesn't threaten Benton because, Harmon doesn't necessarily play his exact position. So he'll be fine. Oh, yeah. And see, Kenyon just said the same thing. Harmon is the end in our defense. So he's fine. Benton, but again, you look over your shoulder just to say, hey, they got other guys that's contributing. So You want to be in that mix. G Stack says, Sim, what's your definition of a wide receiver number 2? Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe we can end on that because, again, I'm past my 30-minute mark. My definition of a wide receiver 2 is a guy that can win in one-on-one coverage, right? What I mean by that, most people would say, well, the X is your guy that, that like AB was your bona fide X, and he, and Deontay Johnson, and they could beat a guy off of man coverage, zone, whatever, they the solo receiver. But my vision for that is when you have a stud, right? So in our offense as constructed, not talking about every number 2 receiver, because I'll say it like this. T. Higgins is a number 2 receiver in a different regard to Jamar Chase. They almost like 1A, 1B. T. Higgins could probably be a 1 somewhere. He's a different type of animal, right? It's just like if we would have had Pickens and Metcalf, then we're not talking about a number 2. But the way our offense is constructed, and the best example I can give you is AB and Juju Smith-Schuster. Your top dog going to draw all the coverage. Everything's going to rotate to them. Everything's going to cheat to their side. They're going to roll coverage to their side. The number 2 guy got to be a guy that can go make a play, that can uncover, that can make a combative catch. Because there's going to be times where you're the target because our number 1 guy is having bracket coverage on him. That's what my definition of a number 2 receiver would be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. From what I'm seeing, if it all pans out, I think Roman Wilson could be that, what I'm looking for more so than Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin, I think, stepped up, took a huge step last season. But again, Calvin, well, he made some tough catches last year, but I was going to say on the surface, Calvin Austin isn't the do the dirty work type of guy. We need a number 2 like that. We need a number 2 like that. Now, it might be in Calvin Austin's pedigree to do it because in college, Calvin actually played on the outside. He played an X. But I just think Roman Wilson might have a few more tricks under his bag in terms of everything else that he could do, including blocking. But we'll see. But yeah, that would be my definition for the Steelers offense. Because again, we're going to be an offense that's going to run a lot of 12 personnel. That means 2 guys on the outside. So that number 2 guy got to be able to beat his man. Even if he doesn't beat him, he has to be able to uncover and win matchups inside or outside, however we run his route, because he will see a lot of single coverage or single zone side. What I mean by single zone side, if we face a team playing a cover 3, they're going to roll the safety and roll coverage towards DK Metcalf, leaving the number 2 guy all alone, whether it's zone or man. So that would be my definition for what a number 2 would have to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's what I'm looking for. Who is that guy that can make those plays downfield? And it looks like they giving Roman Wilson that opportunity, man. So we'll see. But that person has got to be a guy that can win, man. He has to. He has to. He has to. And like I said, I think Juju laid the blueprint. Even when we started moving Juju in the slot, like Juju was killing because, again, Juju was able to primarily beat his one-on-ones. Whether it was with brute strength or just being in position, Juju was able to cook. So we'll see. We'll see. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for me, man. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. We're right at 40 minutes. That's a good spot to stop. And that's about all I got, guys. I definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Of course, man, if you like what you saw here tonight, if you like the video and like the content, It's very easy to do these things right here. You're going to hit that like button. You're going to hit that subscribe button. And you're going to turn on your notifications so you know when these videos are running. But outside of that, guys, I definitely want to say to you guys, like each and every week, please, guys, stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. And I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.